little thing called the Suffolk Puff. Have we made these before? I'm sure we have. I have got one in that colourway. Can you see them? Made with circles. Here are my circles. I've got 2 different sizes, but, let's just have a look. So there's a circle, and we can make these with any size circle that you like, but I've chosen these because I could just cut them out easily. And then I've got a slightly smaller one, like there. So I thought, let's see what we can do with the Suffolk Puff. Now, I did have here somewhere, I made a yo-yo wreath. Let me just stand up a minute. Oh, here it is. Okay. So here is a very faded, so you could make one of these. Can you see that? It probably looks okay from where you are. I saw somebody just paid to join something. Whether that was you, Donna, I didn't quite catch it. It could very well. Oh, so that's the Sew with Trisha group. Okay, Donna. I will be there as soon as we've finished and send you the link to Sew with Trisha. Okay. So I made this for some TV shows, must have been with her Chanda. And so these are using Suffolk Puffs. These have got little bells in the middle, and I've put it on a wire frame for making a wreath. There we go. So that's one thing. I know it's very, very faded. I probably did this 4 or 5 years ago. But as you see, on the screen, it looks okay, but it sat on the windowsill for so long that it has actually faded in direct sunlight, so which isn't very good. But there we go. Oh, thank you, Barbara. There we go. That's the group. Okay. So that's what we can do with a Suffolk Puff. However, I'm not going to show you that tonight, but you'll be able to make that yourself, knowing when you know how to make a Suffolk Puff, if you don't already know. But the other little thing, I was looking for polystyrene balls. Now, little story with the polystyrene balls. I would have thought they were easily able to be, oh, that's all right. But no, thank you, Barbara. Very kind of you. Polystyrene balls are quite expensive, you know. I was thinking, well, none of my suppliers have them, so I couldn't get them in bulk, so I haven't got them to sell. I see. So I haven't got them to sell, but these actually came from the Long River because I went down to Hobbycraft, I think last Sunday, thinking, oh, I'll pop down there. It's still open, fortunately, and I'll get some polystyrene balls, because what craft shop doesn't have a polystyrene ball? Well, my Hobbycraft didn't, and I thought, oh, I couldn't believe it. And what I did buy instead was a couple of these, and not that I've used them. Hello, Elaine. Whoops, throwing that on the floor now. These are like papier-mâché balls, and these were £1 each. And the polystyrene balls work out to about that as well. But I was going to use my hot glue gun to glue them on, because obviously you can't, well, you could stick pins, but it'd be very hard. So I've still got 2 of those. I bought 2 and I've still got 2. So they'll come in for something else. But then when I went and had a look in my little room, I got a few, which was really, really good. And amongst that, we might show you these. I'm sure you've made these before. There was one that I had, so unfinished, but one of these, you can make these by folding either ribbon. I think that's what I've done actually. I've used ribbon at that end, but at this end I've used fabrics and folded them. So you could make these with the egg-shaped ones to make pine cones, but there's one that started and not finished. All it needs is ribbon around the centre, which I haven't got round to doing, but that was like a little prototype. So that's another use, not with your Suffolk puffs, but for your fabric and your polystyrene balls. So I did get some, as I say, from the Long River. Hello, Sue. But boy, are they a price. And this is what I came up with. And I think, how about that? So I have updated it a little bit, as I was getting my bits together, because can you see those lovely little stars, the little gold pieces? Oh, a lot of the shops have sold out, Jack, have they? Oh, lots of loves coming up there, which is lovely. I'm quite pleased with it, actually. But this is just made with the polystyrene ball and covered in Suffolk puffs. It is. And those little stars, in the middle, I know a lot of you will have some beads. You've got beading supplies, and I can't think what they're for. They usually sit around the bead. You have a bead in the middle. Does look pretty, doesn't it? And in Hobbycraft as well, they had a little bead. Because I was so miffed that I couldn't find any polystyrene balls, I did ask somebody, and she said, oh, no, they don't sell them. And I thought, well, I'm going to have a look around while I'm here. And then I came across some beads, and you could get a little pot and choose whatever ones you wanted to fill. This was a little pot for £5, or you could have a much bigger one for 10. But I thought, so for £5, I don't want to tip it out, all of these, don't they just, all of these beads. So I got some little red beads because I thought I might need them for holly looking. But it was just gold pieces I got. So those are they. And then I got these, which you'll see of something else I've done in a minute. It's hard to find them. Some little gold pieces like those. So they're just like a little tubular piece. And also, I think I bought them all up actually. These little gold stars. Look at that. Perfect for what I wanted. And yeah, I filled it to the top. I just absolutely filled it. It's not huge, but I filled it. So it was these that I thought I wanted gold beads or pieces. So that was what I had. So have a look in your beady bits, and I'm sure you've probably got some things like that. So they'll do me for a while. Then, before I got those, I thought, how am I going to attach my my Suffolk puffs to the polystyrene ball? And I thought, do you know what? Now, when we're sewing, I like good pins. I like my the clover flower head pins, as in, I've got none with me. No, I haven't got the pin cushion here. But, they've got a little flower on the top. I like them to be fine. I like the purple tipped, the silicone ended ones, which are can't remember now, but they're more expensive, and prim pins, all very, very good. Now, in the past, I have also bought cheapy glass-headed pins like this. You know these ones? They're okay, but they're not always the sharpest. And I came across, look at this. You see, this is when you don't throw anything away. I came across a little tub that I got with all these glass-headed pins. Well, they're not glass-headed, because if you iron on them, they melt. And you get the colour of the head on your iron. So I got these, and I thought those can stick in the centre to hold the onto the Suffolk puff onto the polystyrene ball. Fortunately, also, I did have, it's not those ones I've used, pin flare. I did have some little applique pins. So these are good, but not essential. I did use them, but they're not essential. So if you've got any of those, or this is Trisha. These are from a long time ago. I've had these for absolutely years, but they are applique pins, or they're for polystyrene, for doing polystyrene work, so pushing fabric into it and holding them. So, yeah, hello, Juliet. Running late, never mind. Oh, lovely. You enjoy. Yeah, so these are just very short. They're about half an inch long, and you poke them through the fabric into the polystyrene, because as much you could glue, but you need to have a special polystyrene glue, because if you use something like Yoo-hoo or a hot glue gun, you're going to melt the polystyrene and it's not going to happen for you. So those are the little supplies. Now, I also then thought, now this was somebody else was doing this actually on the telly. So I thought, I'm going to make a little tree, a little dangly tree. So this again has got the Suffolk puffs, but in between I put a bead. And this was just some beads that I've just got hanging around. I put a rectangular brown one at the bottom for like the tub or the trunk. And then I just put a bead in between. And then I just got some embroidery thread, some silks, the 6-stranded. And I just sewn it all the way through. And then this was before I'd got my little gold stars. And I just put it's a acrylic bead on the top. Not perfect, but it will hang on the tree. And yeah, just think a little bit different. And then the other thing I had in mind to do, and this has worked quite well actually, I've made, I had got some wood slices, some slices of wood. Did they come from Hobbycraft? I don't know now. I've had them for years, and they've sat behind me at the bottom of my big embroidery machine. And I thought I can use those wood slices. So this is quite dinky. Look, there is my thumb. You see how big it is? It's only as tall as my thumb, but I have used some of those, the star is on the top, as you can see, but I've tucked some of these and those little beads in between the layers, so it looks as though it's all decorated. But actually, it looks really quite cute. So underneath you can see there's a bead, which is the base or the trunk. And as you can see, I've just used the same fabrics to make ourselves a little tree. I think that can sit on my mantelpiece. But nice and easy, and all based on this one technique. So yeah, as I sit here looking at it, I absolutely love it. And there's no sewing ability, no professional machine needed. You just need a needle and thread to start these off. Now, I'll do it onto the polystyrene ball tonight because I don't know where my other pieces. I got a little bag of these, and where I put them does look like a bonsai tree, doesn't it? Yes. Also, I've glued this together. I've glued it together with fabric glue. So the same glue that I used the other evening, this one, which is a fabric glue, takes a little while to dry. I would have preferred to use a hot glue gun. It would have been far, far better and dried quicker. But I could find the glue gun, but I couldn't find any glue sticks. And I know I have got a tub full which have been moved from one place to another, and I don't know where that another is. I knew where they were, but where they are now, I don't know. So let's pop that up there. That's really cute. I'm really pleased with that now. So let's just have a look. So these balls, these polystyrene balls are, 40, 50. I think they were 60 millimeters. That's right. Because it's surprising how big. I had to keep getting a ruler out to think, yes, it's the distance, the diameter. So from one side to the other, 60 mil is about 2.5 inches, something like that, across. But it's a reasonable size. You can see you could get that in your hand. And once you've got your Suffolk puffs on, it comes up a little bit bigger. So shall we see how we're going to make a Suffolk puff? Right, let's move that to the side and let's come down. This is where we're going to freeze for the sheer hell of it. Yes, there we go. Right, so as you can see, I've got a few made there, not that many. And we're going to use on this one, these circles are 3.5. They're a 3.5 diameter, but if you can use bigger ones, entirely up to you. So what we need is a needle and thread. So I have my needle and I want a nice sharp needle. I'm going to take that out. I want a nice sharp needle and fairly long because, so I'm just going to get myself a little bit of thread here and let's thread the needle. See if we can. Oops. There we go. So I like to, there's two ways of doing this. I did change to another method because I thought, oh, that's a good way of doing it. But I'll do my original method first, which is putting a knot in the end of my thread. So when I put a knot in, I'll wrap it around my finger and just roll it and then pull. So it doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter how big your knot is, but you don't want your knot to come undone. Oh, I thought I'd nearly lost my needle there. And I did nearly lose it, but I have still got it. Okay. So I have my needle. I'm doing it single thread. Oh, there's my knot. And all we're going to do, I'm going to put these to the side. Actually, we'll do a light colour one because I did alternate them on there. So I'm working, you could work on the other side, on the wrong side or the right side. And all I'm going to do is stitch. So I put my needle in and I'm going it's about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, from the raw edge. And I just like to keep poking the needle backwards and forwards. I don't just do one stitch at a time. It's purely a running stitch. And I try to get them fairly even, but it absolutely doesn't matter if they're not that even. Stitch length, I would also say, is probably, it's not 1/4 of an inch, but it's between 1/8 and 1/4. So you can see I've got quite a few stitches on there. Wait till you've poked it up and then just pull it through. Okay, so it's already started to gather up a little bit. And then we can carry on around. Oh, hello, Vanessa. Doesn't matter. We haven't been doing it very long. But I am just, as you can see, I push my needle in, push the fabric, and when the fabric springs back, I just poke the needle back in again. And I probably do 3 times. So this is my second set of stitches. I can sometimes do it just on 2, but 3 will definitely. So let's see, where's that just coming out? I've used matching thread so that you can't see the stitches. And when I get round to where we started, which I'm very close to, the knot is there so that it doesn't come undone. Where are we? There is my knot. Okay, so I've come up where, there is the knot, and I've come up where it is. So I'm just going to pull my thread, and then I do tend to put my finger in the middle and then just draw it up. So it's sort of partly pleated or gathered just by doing that. And then you can grab hold of your thread and pull. And then once I've pulled it up, I'm going to put my thumb in the middle, and then I just work the way around and just sort of preen the gathers. So it looks pretty neat. It looks pretty even. It doesn't matter if there's some little bits that are wider than the other. It doesn't have to be perfectly even. But from here, the thread is coming out of the top. So I'm going to go back down roughly around the center. But I do go through one of those gathers, take it to the reverse and pull. And again, I'm still going to put my thumb on the center there. And then I'm going to come up into one of the gathers. So I'm not right in the center, and I'm just going to go across into a gather on the opposite side. Just tends to hold it really nicely together. There we are. So turn it to the back because we're not going to see this, and I'll do a tiny stitch into the center, leave a loop, put my needle through it and draw up to give a knot, and then I'll do exactly the same again. So I've got that loop, put my needle through the loop and pull that together. So I've got a knot. You could do it 3 times for absolute security. There we go. And just trim that off. So there we have 1, 2, 3. So let's do that just once more. I'll do another one of these and I'll show you another way, which I actually found was not as quick. So with this one, I'm not going to put a knot in the end, but you must be careful that you don't pull it up too fast. So I'm just going to start doing the stitching around the outside. So just like before, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and the stitches are not quite 1/4 of an inch long, but they can vary. What I would say not to do is to do tiny little stitches. If you do tiny little stitches, what you will find is your gathers, there will be lots of them. And when we pull up to draw all the gathers together, you will have so many little gathers, it will create a hole in the center. And you don't want there to be a hole in the center. I mean, all you do is stitch over it to sort of close it up, but it would create a lump in the middle. On the other hand, if you did very large stitches, what you're going to have is very tall gathers, and then that will also create a lump in the center. So as you can see, I'm just working my way around, doing sort of fairly even stitching. They're not exactly the same. And then come up, there is my end, come up there. And then this time I'm going to grab this end and grab the other end and pull it. Okay. So we've got 2 loose ends, and then I'm going to hold both ends, pull that to the center so that I can just, pull these, that's it, so they're roughly circular and the gathers are fairly evenly distributed. But then I'm going to just tie a knot in these. So let's just get the ends of so there's one end of the thread. I don't want to have too long a piece, but I want it long enough. So I'm going to cut my thread there. And now what I have is 2 ends. And what we don't want to do is lose them. So all I'm going to do, I found this a bit difficult the other day. I'm just going to tie. So I've pulled that tightly, and then I'm going to make a knot. So I'm going to wrap that through and tie a knot. So that's once, twice. I would do it 3, if not 4 times. But what I found was, 1, you're going to use more thread because I should be trimming these extra ends off. And it took me longer than if I'd stitched into the center and just knotted it off. But when I first saw this technique, I thought, That's a good idea. Why have I never done that before? But I do like to do things a little bit quicker. And you've got exactly the same effect. But if you didn't want anything to show on the back, that one's got a couple of little stitches. This one hasn't at all. So try both ways, you know, just in case you prefer one way to the other. Okay, so I have got, well, I've only got 6 here. But what we're going to do, so we'll find these polystyrene balls have got a little line around the centre. I am going to find, I just found a bit of red ribbon, which obviously I won't be able to find the end of it, will I? Oh, there's an end. So let's just have a look. Cut myself. Okay. So I've got myself a little bit of red ribbon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that, oh look, there's a little circle in the centre there. So I'm going to pop that, I think I did this first last time. And I have got, oh, let's start again. If we open that up, I have got these little, oh, that's a longish one. Don't think that was a pin. These little pins. And I am going to pop a couple in here. So they are quite easy. We just press that in, and I would put, as I say, a couple in there like that. And then I'm just going to wrap that around, put the other end on the top there, and we'll do the same. See if I could pick these up. You know what I'll be doing with pins? I'll be sticking them in the wrong way so that it goes into my hand. Oh, there we are. There's number 1. And number 2. Okay, so I've got that attached. And then, let's see, what did I do? Oh, I think let's put that one here. So that we cover that top part there. I'm then going to put a pin in that edge. Oh, so there's 1. And then I'll put it down the opposite end as well. Okay. And then I might put, I really need some more. Another one just here. So this other side. Like that, so that's anchoring that one. And put another one just down there. And then we can work our way round. There we are. So here, what you could do is you underlap, if you like. There we are. So let's put a green one under there. Underlap it. On some cases, you might end up having a little bit of white showing, but you can join. You could put something else in there as well, because I did think originally about painting. So I'm just putting these little pins to hold it. Whoops, oh, there was 2 there. Paint the underneath if you want to. So that's holding that one. And then let's have a green one here. And I'm just holding them down, putting 2 pieces, or so that it's going through 2 pieces basically, and holding them both so they don't come off. And because they're so small, you can't actually see them there anyway. I'm going to put one at the bottom here to anchor that. And I've got one there. I didn't put one at the bottom here. And that one can go just there. That one's got one there. And I should have been a little bit not alternating there. And then we can pop, as you see, this one under here. And just basically a little bit of routine. So pop that one to anchor those 2 together. And that little one just to poke that in there. Okay. And, oh, I've got one more here. So if I could put that one just there. And by overlapping or underlapping, depending on which one's gone down first, it just holds them all in place. And I've got another little bit there. So if you've got different sizes of Suffolk puff, you could put smaller ones in there as well. So let's just pop this like that. And we haven't got one down here, but we'll pop one down there. Oh, I forgot to put one down here as well. So as it sits, oh, you could, couldn't you? That is a great idea, Kerry. If you use brown at the bottom. So what you could do is cut a large circle and pop the white polystyrene onto that, and then just sort of pleat it so that you can pin around the top of the circle. So it comes about halfway up, and then decorate purely with white Suffolk puffs if you wanted to. So this is where I was thinking as I was making it. That doesn't look too bad there, but it doesn't look wonderful. So that was when I thought, let us get, let's get these pins. So I started sticking the pin into the center to hide it, to hide that bit. And then when I'd got these, I thought to myself, let's get one of these, and you can just pick it up with your pin. You should be able to, and pop that in. And because it's nice and deep, there. And similarly here, you can change all the colours. Let's have, oh, we have a white one there. And let's just pick another one of these up. I mean, I thought these were very, I can remember when I used to work in a craft shop, I can remember selling these, and they were perhaps in packs of 20, and you were, even then you were paying £2, so they're about 10p each. But I think I did get sort of quite a bargain with all of these. So it's a case of, this is recycling things you already have. And even though these pins are quite long, doesn't matter. You see, they're quite long because they've got quite a way to go into the polystyrene ball. Oh, that was fitting there. So, center of the Suffolk puff. Oh, look, one more just there. Let's have a blue one. But it just adds to it with all the different colours. So I haven't got a purple one. Oh, let's have a purple one. Oh, can't grab hold of it now. Oh, there's purple. There is purple. Okay. Pick that up. But I do think as well, oh, I've got one down here. If you wanted, we could actually, no, perhaps not. I was thinking the red bead. Let's just put a red bead. I can always pull it out. If you wanted to just pop beads onto the top so it looked like a holly berry. So let's pick one of these red beads. The red beads I bought actually, not quite as fun. I bought the red beads to go in between these. So with my little Christmas tree, the hanging one, I bought those little beads to go in the middle there. So I think we'll take that off, because that's not my favourite for that. But if you wanted to, the other thing, you see these little, these little ones I've got here, we could put those so that it's a little bit dimensional. That's quite nice. But I still like these little snowflake, what are they? Connectors. Connectors, that's the word. But it is as simple as that. So you could sit of an evening in front of the telly, stitching around these circles, easy peasy. You can still watch and listen, and you won't go far wrong making these. And then when we've got a little bit of daylight, you can just sit there, or you could even sit there while you're watching the telly and put them together. But nice and easy, nice and lightweight. And if I was starting this again, I think what I would probably do, like I've done with this one, yeah, I've put a smaller one in the top, but I've put all of the light background around there, and around the center, I've put all dark ones, and then I've put all light ones there, and I put a dark one there. Oh, look, I haven't got, let's just pull that out. This is where you can change what you're doing. It'd be nice to have one at the bottom, because somebody's bound to look underneath, so that it just, oh, there's one, oh, there's a couple missing there. Oh, let's just put these on. It is so, spacer beads. Yeah, spacer beads. I was got, yeah, they're not connectors, spacer. You're absolutely right, Carol. Spacer beads. I've never really done much in the way of jewellery making. I've dabbled, and as you do, you get everything you need to do it, but never really find the time that it would take to use all the beads. So, you know, I can go here, there, and everywhere, and I can find things in my house where I think, oh, I've got some of those. Oh, I've got some of those. It's just a case of finding it. One day I shall be organised. The thing is, I keep trying to be organised, but I forget then where things have been put. And I can always remember where they were until they've been moved. Okay, I think I finished that one off now. But yeah, I think that's all. Look, there's one there. One there, or two there even. I mean, you may as well do a job properly, mightn't you? Rather than just have a few sitting there. So you can use up any old little bits. I mean, you might find some other things that you could decorate with. And, okay, I had to buy these little bits, but, oh, we need one in the top. You've probably got some in your stash. And I have, but I think I've probably got silver ones, but I wanted gold on this particular one that I've done. Okay, let's come back up. So, nice and easy though, wasn't it? Nice and easy. And I am sure, where did you get the little snowflakes? I got them from Hobbycraft. From Hobbycraft is where they came from. And as I say, it was a very small section, and all the beads, my running commentary, all the, I didn't want all the beads, but they had got all the colours under the sun. I was just looking for gold, so I just went into the little sections that had got gold, and I think I run 2 or 3 of them out. But Hobbycraft had them, and as I say, they were this little pot for £5, and there was a pot that was probably 3 times the depth and the same width. You get far more. So if you really wanted lots of different coloured beads, you would have had an absolute bargain at £10 for a pot, compared with buying them individually. So hello, Margot. But yes, so that's what I thought I would show you tonight. And what I'm also going to do, I don't know whether I've given it to you before, but in the Sew with Trisha group, I am going to put the yo-yo wreath for you as well, if you wanted to make that. So it's got the technique of the doing the Suffolk puff, but it actually puts a little bit of what did I use? Pelmet violin, a circle of pelmet violin in there to make it more substantial. But it has got the basic technique of how. So there we go. I shall have to hang these up to take a little picture. But I hope that's given you a little bit of inspiration for some festive. I'm going to definitely make some more of these dinky ones here because that's come out really quite well. And I've got my Suffolk puffs ready, but I hadn't actually put it together this evening. So I've only done this probably an hour ago, just enough time for the glue to set. But you can, as I can see, you can see those little snowflakes in between there and the little gold beads. And then that little star on top just sets it off as well. I should have put a star on the top of that one. Okay. I think it's nearly dinner time. So I will say, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Oh, Jan's just saying she forgets where she's put things. Yeah, you know you've got them and they're there somewhere. Okay, so lid of a jam jar covered in felt would work too. It would. Fantastic, Carol. You are full of inspiring ideas tonight. So yes, lid of a jam jar. You don't need the wood bit, but I just got them sitting there and I thought, we'll do that. Also, if you've got any wooden cotton reels, anybody got a wooden cotton reel, old ones, use that. Okay. At the bottom would look lovely. Yes. So thank you for joining me tonight. It has been a lot of fun. I love doing this for you. Tomorrow, as you know, it is the Quilted Hug starting at 10:30. We will be in the conservatory because we need a lot of space. We need, for cutting the wadding in particular, I need a bit of space. And I will say in advance, it's supposed to be windy and wet, but I'm going to touch something on here that should reduce background noise. Let's see if it works. It'll probably make me mute. Anyhow, enjoy the rest of your evening. And for those of you that are, I will see you tomorrow at 10:30 in the special group, and look forward to a fun day. So take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.